15 days to go until the NFL regular season is officially here, and our HQ crew has hit a handful of training camps, and we're doing an AFC East training camp breakdown coming your way right now. It's arguably one of the most wide open divisions in the NFL. We got the Jets, where a healthy Aaron Rodgers is hopeful for the Jets fans if they want to see some success. We have Josh Allen and the Bills trying to prove that their Super Bowl window is in fact not closed. And the Dolphins trying to prove they can beat good teams, playoff teams, and then of course the Gerard Mayo era is kicking off for New England. And we have our host with the First Pick podcast, Ryan Wilson, here with us for an AFC East camp breakdown. We're going to do stars from camp and then players that could potentially be cut and not be on the team once the regular season gets here. We're starting with the Jets, where, as mentioned, Ryan, their success really depends on Aaron Rodgers and if he can stay healthy. Of course, we saw those 4 infamous snaps last season with Aaron Rodgers. Give us a star from camp and then who could get cut in your opinion.
Hey, Jacqueline, good to see you. It feels like summer's almost over. You mentioned 2 weeks until the start of the NFL season, so we've got a back-to-school shop for your new clothes and your backpack, so we have to get on that in the next few days. But in terms of what the Jets have in order, you know about Aaron Rodgers. He's healthy finally, and that's been a storyline for a few weeks here. But a guy to keep an eye on is second-year edge rusher Will McDonald, their first-round pick from the 2023 class. And this defense is so stacked in New York that we don't talk a lot about Will McDonald, IV. He didn't play a whole bunch last year, but he is long, he is athletic, and he has been flashing this preseason. We know Hassan Reddick has been a no-show. He wants a new deal. So even if Hassan Reddick does not return to New York, and we'll see how that plays out. They have Jermaine Johnson, a first-round pick from a few years ago. They have Will McDonald IV as well, and we know what they have in the back end with Sauce Gardner. I think this defense is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting early on as Aaron Rodgers gets interested in where he wants to take this team health-wise, but keep an eye on him. On the other side, a guy who's fighting for a roster spot, Israel Abanikanda, the day 3 running back from a year ago. He's an absolute burner. Offers a little bit in the return game. We saw him have 2 kick returns last year. Wasn't asked to do a whole bunch in terms of running the football. But the issue is depth, because they have Breece Hall. They drafted Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin. They have Isaiah Davis as well. So there's a chance that Abanikanda makes it as running back 4. But he also might be on the outside looking in when it's all said and done in a few weeks here.
Jets coming off a 7-10 season, 3rd in the division. They missed the playoffs. Now, a team that didn't miss the playoffs, but they're trying to prove that they can actually beat playoff caliber teams. The Dolphins. Tua, we know, just got paid. He got that big contract there. That's been a big story in the offseason. But we'll start with your star for the Dolphins. It is Jalen Wright. Tell us why.
Another rookie out of Tennessee, and he might be one of the fastest people outside of South Beach, because once you get to Miami, everyone there is fast. You talked about the return of Jalen Waddle. We know about Tyreek Hill. Last year, they drafted Devon Achane in the backfield. So what does Mike McDaniel go on to do? More speed, because why not? So this is a great play here, because he bobbles a snap and then runs around the other way and outruns everyone down the field. This is a play you see in Pee Wee football work, not at the NFL level, but that's the sort of speed we are talking about. And Mike McDaniel's going to find new and interesting ways to get him the football. And if Devon Achane needs a break, and he battled injuries last year, Jalen Waddle's going to step right in with just as much juice as the rest of those burners in Miami. In terms of a guy who needs to continue to work hard these next few weeks here, Channing Tindall, the former 3rd-round pick out of Georgia, the linebacker. He was drafted to be a guy who's sideline-to-sideline speed, but he struggled to find his way on the field. He may have to do it, Jacqueline, as a special teamer, and he's done pretty well this training camp and preseason, but there's a lot of depth there, so he's going to have to continue to work hard to make sure he makes that final 53, and it's going to be a close call. Yeah,
you mentioned the speed from that receiving core there in Miami. The wide receiver conversation for Buffalo is certainly different. Josh Allen, he has a completely new wide receiver room for the most part, and it is a wide out there in Buffalo that you think is going to be fighting for a roster spot. Who is it?
Yeah, so let's go. We'll work in reverse order here. KJ Hamler, the former 2nd-round pick, he went to the Denver Broncos. He played at Penn State. He's primarily being used as a returner right now, and the issue is his teammate from Penn State, Daquan Hardy, the rookie, has been flashing as a returner, and he might end up winning that job. Daquan plays nickelback, and he's a really good player as well. So KJ Hamler is in a situation where he's probably not going to be used much as a receiver. They do have some depth there, even if there are questions after Stephon Diggs left for Houston. But that's a concern for KJ making the team primarily as a returner. And good news, however, guys that I think has a chance to be a huge star. James Cook is the guy that we always talk about in terms of the running back position. But they drafted Ray Davis out of Kentucky. Ran for over 1,000 yards last year. Ran for over 1,000 yards when he was at Vanderbilt before he transferred. Has a fantastic backstory. Was once in foster care. And you see him here. He ran all over the Steelers last week in preseason. But he has been a camp standout. They've been talking a lot about him, the Bills organization, in terms of what he's been able to do during training camp. And you see a lot of the same things you saw at Kentucky last year and what you saw at the Senior Bowl during the pre-draft process. He has a chance to be a plan B after James Cook when he's on the sidelines and help give this roster some juice to the running back position, especially now, as we've talked about here, Stephon Diggs has left for the Texans.
You know, Ryan, I know I went to Florida, and I'm getting a little bit of PTSD looking at Ray Davis because he ran all over our team in the Florida-Kentucky matchup. Finally, let's round this out and talk about New England. The lowest win total in the NFL sitting at 4.5, so finding a bright spot for this team might be a little bit difficult, but you do have a star for us. Who is it? Who's sticking out to you and why?
Jacqueline, you and Zach Alders need to start a support group for U of F alums struggling with the Gators. But we don't have to talk about that now. Maybe this is the year. You never know. In terms of the Patriots, it's not their year. Right. Those are the same sentiments you hear from Patriots fans, because they have a lot of concerns. It feels like they have their quarterback, but in terms of someone that Drake May, their quarterback, can be excited about, another rookie, and they got him in the second round, Jalen Polk, out of Washington. We know about Rome Odunze and Jalen McMillan, who had so much success with Michael Penix Jr. Jalen Polk was right there with him, and he's a big play threat, and this is something they desperately need on that team. And thank goodness for Jalen Polk's emergence. I do wonder, and I bring this up a lot, Jacqueline, they traded down a few spots the Patriots did to get Jalen Polk, but they passed on Ladd McConkey, who ended up with the Chargers. I want to see how these two check out productivity-wise as we get through this season, because I loved a little Ladd McConkey in my life. In terms of the person who is on the outside looking in potentially, Bailey Zappi. Now, he's played a lot this preseason, perhaps as a potential trade candidate, but they drafted Drake May, as I talked about. They also drafted on day 3 Joe Milton, who has a huge arm out of Tennessee, and we've seen him flash that huge arm in preseason. He's a developmental quarterback, and there's an opportunity for him to be the QB3 here, but Bailey Zappi's best opportunity to play football is probably going to be on another team as a backup, because it feels like his days are numbered in New England. He's going to be on the Mac Jones trains out of town pretty soon, it feels like.
Ryan, I know this segment is about the NFL, but I can't stop thinking about the Florida Gators support group with Zach and I, the Gators and the Patriots have the same win total, ironically, at 4.5, so it's not looking good for either team. Ryan Wilson, certainly appreciate it. We know football is coming when we start seeing more and more of you on our screen. An AFC East training camp breakdown. Always good to see you, Ryan. About 2 weeks to go until the regular season kicks off, and CBS has got you covered for AFC East matchups. We have the Cardinals and the Bills, Jags, Dolphins, Patriots and the Bengals. Those are all on CBS. And then, of course, the Jets in action on Monday night. They're 5.5-point dogs against the 49ers.